Welcome back. Now let's apply what you've learned from lesson 1 until the lesson that you were doing today. Okay, let's have a look at these questions. Number 1, Nolo bought the following ingredients to bake muffins for her visitors. Use the recipe to answer the questions. Okay, here's the recipe which is given. When you answer this question, make sure that you go through the recipe before you can even answer your questions. The first question, express the amount of sugar needed in decimal form. So now you have to come and check the sugar on your recipe. The sugar which is given on the recipe is 3/4. So to express 3/4 as a decimal, you simply press your calculator. You press 3, let's press together. 3 divided by 4. The answer that I'm getting is 0.75. So now we've expressed it as a decimal. You just press the answer and then on your calculator, and the answer that you get, you divide 3 by 4 on your calculator. The answer you get is what we are looking for. Round off your answer to the nearest whole number. Now we need to round off. Remember the principles of rounding. When we round off, we say we will be guided because we are rounding off to the nearest whole number. The first value after the whole number is 7, the first decimal value. So if we have to round off, we look at 7. 7 is greater than 4. So because 7 is greater than 4, we are going to round up. Then our answer will then be 1 because we need to add 1 to 0 and then we will have 1. So now let us have a look. Let's continue with the third question, still based on this very same recipe. Determine the number of eggs needed to prepare 20 muffins. So now, for us to determine how many eggs will bake 20 muffins, we check that we had muffins, number of muffins which was given. So we will say 20 muffins, and then we divide it by 12 muffins. Remember, the same units or same items are dividing. So we take 20 muffins, we divide by 12 muffins, and because now the question is about the eggs, we check for 12 muffins, we needed 1 egg. So we need to multiply by 1 egg in such a way that the muffin will divide with muffin. And then let us calculate together. Let's get our answer. We take 20, you divide it by 12, and you multiply it by 1, and the answer that we are getting is 1,2468. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and a 7. So this is the answer that we are getting. So now the question is determine the number of eggs. Remember, when we determine the number of eggs, because this is a recipe, you need to have enough. There's no way you can round down. So for you to do your rounding on the recipe, you should think about what is it that is going to happen if I'm going to round down. If I'm rounding down, am I going to have enough? No, we won't have enough. So obviously, this forces us to round up. I said rounding down and rounding up are done in context. You read the context will guide you as to whether are you rounding up or rounding down. Now we need to round up so that we can have enough, and then the answer now will be 2 eggs. This is the number of eggs that we need. And then let's continue with the fourth question. If 1 muffin costs R2.23 to prepare, calculate the total cost of 7 muffins. So here we have 2 questions. The first question is to calculate the total cost. The second one is to round off. So let us start with the first question, the one of calculating the total cost. So now that we know that the cost of 1 muffin is R2.23, we can as well take the cost R2.23 and we multiply it, because now we have 7 muffins. We multiply it by 7 muffins. Let us calculate together. is going to be 2 Rand 23 multiplied by 7. Then the answer that I'm getting is 15 Rand 61. So to get your answer, you simply take 2 Rand 23, you multiply by 7, and you get your answer. But now let us address the second question. The second question is round off to the nearest whole number. So the nearest whole number implies the nearest unit. So the nearest unit that we are having is 5. So now 6 will be the value that will guide as to whether are we rounding up or rounding down. Remember the principle. Now that 6 is more than 4, we are going to round up. And as we round this up, this is equivalent to 16 Rand. Then we've answered the question. We've answered both parts of the question. So now the next question, how much will Lulu pay for 7 muffins if she pays cash? If she pays cash, because the cost originally was 15 Rand 61, we need to write it down. 15 Rand 61. We can as well break it down as 15 Rand plus 61 cents. So now if we have 61 cents, remember when we rounding off currency, we always round off to the nearest 10 because the minimum currency in South Africa is 10 cents. So because 1 is less than 5, then this will be rounded down and then this will be 60 cents. So then we will have 15 Rand plus 61, 0.61, 0.60 actually, after rounding it off. Then we will have 15 Rand 60 as our answer. Now let us have a look at the last example. The last example that we are having, Pule wanted to paint her room. She wanted to buy the paint. The area of the room is 36 square meters. 1 liter of paint covers 5 square meters. How many buckets of paint must she buy if she buys 1 liter buckets? So now we've seen that the 1 liter covers 5 square meters. So if it covers 5 square meters, we have 36 square meters to be painted. Then we can divide it by 5 square meters, then square meter will divide with square meter. Let's calculate together. We take 36, we divide it by 5, and then we will get 7,2. So the question is, how many buckets of paint must she buy? So now we say if she buys 7, it won't be enough. So if it is not enough to cover the entire area, therefore we say we need to round up. Then if we round up, then remember we don't consider the decimal, whether it's less than 4 or what. When we round up, we always adjust upward. So now this will be adjusted upward. We add 1 to 7 and our answer will then be 8. Let's take an ad break. I will see you after the ad break.